Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Cropper here. The Suicidal Optimist is delighted. He's actually done a little 1-minute, 18-second video or something like that on a remark I left, a comment I left on one of his videos, I believe. He says Cropper said this and I can prove he said it. So I want to come out and publicly own it before any scandal breaks out. I said that capitalism ended exploitation of the lower classes. And he says, well, what about the sweatshops in India? What about the sweatshops in China? What about this and that and the other? So let's talk about that for a minute. By capitalism, I mean a government that protects the right to life, liberty, and property so that you can thrive. In other words, capitalism is a system that protects you. You can do anything you want. You can pick your nose, you put jam in your hair, you can pray to any god you want or to no god at all. You can do anything you want as long as you don't hurt other people. And there is therefore a court system that will investigate supposed crimes, and then the legislative body that makes laws, none of which can impinge on your freedoms. That's capitalism. That ended the exploitation of the lower classes. It did. That's the story of the 1800s, where population is going like this, and then all of a sudden in the 1800s it goes like that. Yeah, that's capitalism. It's been pinned to the Industrial Revolution. You just read about the conditions of the living conditions of Europeans versus Americans in the mid-1700s, and in the late 1700s, and in the 1800s, and even in the 1900s and the 2000s. But my first point there was in the mid-1700s, before the industrial age really got rolling, especially in America. Hadn't even gotten rolling in America. So over in Britain we have the wealthiest society anywhere on the planet, with the possible exception of America, because America has such high living standards compared to Britain, even then in the 1750s. Well, fast forward to the 1800s and the freer conditions in America has helped. Fast forward to 1825, the freer conditions have caused, it's the greatest country in the world by 1825 in terms of standard of living. Everyone wants to get there. And that was because of this system that doesn't allow anybody to hurt anybody else. You can make deals with them, like, for example, I'll pay you 2 pennies a day to run this dangerous machine. They made deals with people like that, but they couldn't force them to do it. Different from Europe. Now, that doesn't necessarily endure today. The point about the sweatshops in India, of course, is that they are not... We can buy things from a damn country. We hope that that country will enforce rights and privileges of being alive, liberty, on its citizens. It will enforce the law similar to what we have. We hope. But unfortunately we're not always in control of that. It's not always possible for us to say, hey, you have to respect rights over there, guys. So what we have to do is go anywhere in the world we can and get the best price for ourselves. Okay? And the best product, too. It's no good to have a good price and a bad product. And that should be up to the businessmen. And so I'm saying therefore that it's okay for us to put bricks for sale in Walmart, that we all can, put it around our gardens, go to Walmart and get some bricks and decorate our gardens. And these bricks were made by slaves in India. Is that okay? Now, I don't think they ship bricks over here. I'm pretty sure the bricks are made in America. It's too expensive to ship, but who knows, maybe. So we're going to give them capital for the bricks. And what do you think they're going to do with the capital? Where do you think they're going to spend it in their poor, crappy little economy that's run on slavery? Where are they going to spend their capital? Inside their economy, fine. Or in some other economy somewhere in the world, fine. So that those people in that factory gain some benefit. They have some job. If we just said, no, we're not going to trade with your country at all, zip, zero, zilch, the extensive poverty in the countries would increase exponentially. To the extent that a country is prosperous, it's trading with other countries. So I don't care if they have slaves in their factories over in China. What I care about is individual rights. Okay? Do away with the violations of individual rights, and they would be fine on the slavery issue. But that's not, America fights hard for its freedom, and then submits at home. That's the story I'm about to tell in a second. But we don't necessarily have to enforce freedom for everybody around the world. And if someone's selling doohickeys or gadgets or doodads, we should buy it because it's the best price for us, and it's why should those people not have a job? Why should we give them no money for the product, for the creation that they make? They make some value. We ought to draw them into our economy as much as we possibly can. It wakens their people up to the possibilities of what is outside of their economy. So I think trade, in all instances, is a good situation, with the exception of being a threat to national security. You wouldn't want to trade highly specialized computer parts and components and knowledge on making this and that and the other to a country that wants to destroy you. That would be ridiculous. But short of that, I think free trade, it benefits everybody. It benefits the people who buy, and it benefits the people who sell, even if they are slaves huddling in some factory in China. It's better that China import capital and then do something with the capital, either spend it inside the country or spend it on foreign products that do more benefit to the country again. It's always good when people trade to mutual benefit. Mutual benefit, hello. Now, about America being the place where there's no exploitation of the lower classes. Here's something funny. Cops, there's a scam they've found. It's known, it's done regular. I call it a scam. It's just a program. It's a cop. The cops have a program. I think this is in California specifically, but it's probably most police departments across the nation. The day before you retire, they give you a promotion. And of course, in your retirement benefits, all this stuff and that stuff, and if you made it to this, if you made it to captain, if you made it to whatever, then you get this, if you made it to whatever, you get this. So they bump people up on the day that they retire. Guess who pays that? You know, that's just a way of milking a little extra money out of the taxpayer. That doesn't just happen with the police. That also happens with the unions, okay, in the auto industry, in the steel industry, in railroads, in teaching, okay? And everybody out there is going to say, now wait a minute, the auto industry, all those are going broke. They're in bad shape. The steel industry in America is gone. There's no steel industry in America anymore. The railroad, everything goes by trucks now. There are a few railroads reviving lately, just in the last 10 years, but railroads have been dead since the 60s or 70s. And teaching. Now, the reason that those other three, steel, autos, and railroads, are going broke is because the unions have made them go broke. The unions have taken money out of them by force, because the unions want something, they get it. That's all there is to it. Why would the selfish, evil employer have a say? They've driven those entire industries into the ground so that they've had to be replaced by other industries. It now takes 240 men to move the cargo that it used to take 4 men to move using trains. It now takes 240 internal combustion engines instead of 3 or 4 running on a railroad somewhere to move the same amount of cargo. We buy steel from, China, Japan, other countries, though. Other countries where we get our steel. We were the major steel producer for a long, long time. Unions drove it under. Why haven't they driven teaching under? Because there's no competition, okay? If they could supplant teaching somehow, if people could supplant the teacher's job, then eventually the system would have to crumble, but they are an arm of the government. That's the thing. The unions were able to get into private industry and kill it. But you can't get into government and kill it because the government has a stranglehold on the people through taxation. So, there is, therefore, reborn even in capitalism. This is not capitalism anymore. It's a degraded, late form of capitalism called a mixed economy. Even in this mixed economy, and of course in this mixed economy, obviously in this mixed economy, we're going to have exploitation. We've got people who do a crap job. That's the teachers. They get overpaid for the work they do. Definitely. Our kids can't read, and they're getting paid the wages of a person who runs a restaurant or something. There was a scandal recently or last 6 months or so in the newspaper. The newspaper printed the salaries, the yearly salaries of some of the teachers and the janitor, specifically. The janitor has been working for the school for 20 years now. He's the head janitor. He's getting $70,000 a year. Now, personally, I don't think that a janitor's worth $70,000 a year unless he's really, really highly skilled. And even then, I'm not sure. I think that what you probably ought to do is pay a janitor $30,000 a year, even